Okay guys, so this story takes place at the Laura Mercier counter of the Selfridges store at the Trafford Centre. So I always go in that Selfridges store, whether it be to the Mac counter, to the Laura Mercier counter, Urban Decay, whichever it is, that is the store that I will normally go to. So this whole story starts off, I want to say it was probably June last year, and myself and one of my best friends were shopping. Now I needed some of the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, and I wanted to have a quick look and see if they had any sort of cream contour kits as well, because I'd seen one online. I wasn't sure if they were going to stock it in the actual store, so we were just going in for a bit of a mooch. Okay, so me and my friend are at the Laura Mercier stand waiting, trying to find out if there is anybody free or available that is going to come and serve us. So we stand around waiting, there's nobody to be seen, and I've obviously got Lucas with me at the time. He was probably about 4 or 5 months old. He was a tiny baby at the time. So we're standing at the counter waiting for one of the assistants to come and help us. So we waited, and we waited, and we waited, and nobody came. So we were stood there for about 15 minutes, I would probably say. And in the end, I went over to one of the girls on the Bobby Brown counter to ask them if anybody was serving at Laura Mercier, why there was no staff there. So the girl explained to me that there was a lady working on the Laura Mercier counter, however, she might have just been out for a break. So just hang around for a few more minutes and hopefully somebody would come and help us. So another 5 minutes go by and there is still nobody there. We've probably been stood there for about 20 minutes at this point as well. So we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting and nobody comes. So then I go over to the Mac counter and I said to one of the ladies, excuse me, do you know if anybody's working on the Laura Mercier counter? I need to pick some things up and I've been waiting here for about 20 minutes, there's nobody here. So she said, I'm really sorry, it isn't actually anything to do with Mac, but I will go and find out if there are any staff working on the Laura Mercier counter for you. So off she goes. 2 minutes later, she comes back with the sales assistant from the Laura Mercier counter. So the sales assistant from the Laura Mercier counter comes. She's obviously been out for a cigarette break and she stinks, absolutely stinks of smoke. This girl, it was just disgusting. I mean, I myself, I'm a smoker. I hold my hands up, I know it's disgusting, but you gotta do what you gotta do, okay? But when you're working on a makeup counter or you're working face-to-face customer service, turning up stinking of smoke is just, in my opinion, just not acceptable. So anyway, so I explained to the lady I was after the translucent setting powder, which wasn't a problem. She grabbed that straight away and got it for me. Then I said to her, I'm looking for a little bit of help in regards to the contour kits. Now, I want a cream contour kit. Which ones do you have? And, you know, can I have a quick look at them, sort of thing. So she points up to the shelf behind us, and I'm quite sure, I think I'm 5'4". The shelf is way over 7 foot tall. And she says, this is the cream contour kit that we've got. And she just stands there staring at me. So I was like, okay, is there any that you've got down, like testers or anything that I can have a quick look at? No, we don't have these as testers. So I was like, okay, no problem. Can you grab me one then so that I can open it up and have a quick look, just to see what the inside looks like? I wanted to test it. I wanted to see what the consistency was like, the formula was like. I wanted to see how blendable it was, but that wasn't an option because there was no testers out and this lady did not want me to put my fingers inside this palette. So she got it down, opened it up, flashed it in my face and then took it away. So I just thought, I'm not even doing this. So I was like, okay, I'll take one of those anyway. If I don't like it for whatever reason, I'll just take it back. So she puts that to one side and then I'd seen this lip gloss. This is where some of the trouble started. So this is in the shade Bare Blush and this is one of the lip glazes from Laura Mercier. So I explained to the lady, I was playing with the testers and she was asking me if I needed any help. I was saying, no, I'm just looking for something really neutral. This, you know, I think this is the one that I'm going to go for. So we get to the lip gloss, she adds it to the basket and she goes over to sort of where the till is, but there was a debit card machine directly on the counter right where I was stood. So I just thought that's where I was going to pay, whatever, you know, I'm stood right near a till. So she stands at the other end of the bar, if you like, of the actual counter, and she's just staring at me. So I've got my debit card in my hand and I'm sort of looking at my friend. It was really, really uncomfortable. And she sort of clicked her fingers in the air and said, do you want to pay? And I was like, whoa, she just clicked her fingers at me. So I was like, oh, sorry, I thought I was going to pay on this till. Obviously not. So we walk over to the till and she's already scanned everything through and put them in a bag. So she snatches my debit card out of my hand, gives me the most filthy look I have ever seen and starts putting it in. Then she says, pin. And I sort of leant over, put my pin into the chip and pin machine, stood back, and she just passed me the card, gave me the bag and said, did you want the receipt? And I was like, yes, I want a receipt, of course. I've just spent almost £100 on makeup, and I knew in my head that if I didn't like this contour palette, it was coming back to the store. So I said, yes, please, I do want the receipt, if you can just throw it in the bag for me. So she looked me up and down again, huffed and puffed, and threw the receipt, sort of scrunched it up in her hand and threw it into the bag. So I was just like, I just wanted to get out of there. And the whole time I'm turning around and I'm looking at my friend and I'm like, Okay, so I've got the bag in my hand, I'm about to leave, and I said to the lady, thanks very much for your help, that was great, blah, blah, blah. And she went and stood there staring at me, and I was just like, you are the rudest person I have ever met. Actually, hold on, the girl in the MAC store was pretty rude that time. I did a whole story time on the rude MAC girl as well, so I will pop that one above. If you haven't seen it, you can go and watch it. So anyway, back to the story. So we're walking out of Selfridges, and I'm sort of saying to my friend, that was disgusting. I cannot believe that she thinks it's okay to speak to people the way that she just spoke to me. And my friend was saying to me, well, you should have said something, you know, there's no point saying it as you're walking away, you should have said it at the time. So I just thought, I can't be bothered. Like I say, I had a 4-month-old baby with me. I'm not about to stand in the middle of Selfridges and start kicking off with this bitch because, you know, she had an attitude problem. So we gets out of the store, we gets all the way home, and I'm super excited because I've bought loads of other makeup products, and I'm like getting everything out of my bags, you know, checking everything, swatching it on my hand like you do. And I open the lip gloss. So the lip gloss box that this came in was a little silver package, and on the outside of it, it did say Bare Blush. However, the product on the inside of the package was the most dark red burgundy shade of horrible lipstick I have ever seen, and it had really big chunks of glitter in it. It was disgusting. It was not the kind of thing I would ever be seen dead in. So I'm sat there and I'm like, I don't believe this. After all that shit in the shop, I've now got home and this flipping lip gloss is wrong. So me being a Twitter warrior, take straight to Twitter, tweet Selfridges, and I'm like, you know, I've come home, the wrong bloody product was in the box, now I've got to go all the way back to the store, it's disgusting. So they tweet me straight back and they were like, we're really sorry that this happened, this doesn't usually happen. We will get one of our customer service representatives to contact you via email if you DM us your email address. So I did. I sent them a DM, they emailed me straight back literally within about half an hour, and that was that. They was basically saying to me, you know, if you want to come into the store, then that's completely fine. Or we can send it out in the post. If you want to post it, you know, return it to us via post. And I thought, do you know what? I'm not going back to that store to return it because the Trafford Centre from where I live is probably about a 30-minute drive, something like that. We'd already wasted petrol going there. We weren't going to go all the way back there and waste another half an hour's worth of petrol for this bloody lip gloss. So I said to them, no, look, it's not convenient. I said, I've got a 4-month-old baby and, you know, I'm going to send it back to you via recorded delivery, and you guys will obviously have to then send me a replacement. So the gentleman that was actually dealing with the complaint was absolutely lovely. It did come from Selfridges, and they did explain that to process the refund and get everything sent, not the refund, sorry, the return, and have everything sent back, it would be the Laura Mercier account that I'd need to contact. So he would pass my complaint over to them and somebody would obviously ring me back. So I thought, that's fine. The customer service from Selfridges was amazing. Like I say, they came back to me super quick. So I thought Laura Mercier would come back to me super quick, but obviously not. So about 5 days later, Laura Mercier get in contact with me, and it's one of the managers from the store, and she actually phoned me and she said, I apologise, I believe that one of our staff members was incredibly rude to you. I would like to apologise on her behalf. However, you know, this girl has been pulled to one side and spoken to. She understands that it wasn't acceptable the way she dealt with you. I told the manager about the fact that she had a bad attitude. I told her about the fact that she came back stinking of cigarette smoke. She was just super unprofessional, and it's just not helpful for anybody. It put me off going there. Like, I will not be going back to that Laura Mercier stand ever. So if I ever need anything else, I'll be ordering it online, or I'll be just going to a different store because I'm not putting up with that. She was super helpful. She said to me that she'd spoken to the employee understood that that was not the correct way to speak to a customer, and, you know, all she could do was apologise. So she gave me the details for the address and everything. I had to send back the lip gloss. They were going to then process that and resend me the actual product. So I sent it all off recorded delivery. Took them about maybe a week and a half to actually send me the replacement product. Now, I sent my parcel recorded delivery. I think it's special next day delivery actually with Royal Mail. So I sent that off, and I know that they received it the following day before 1 o'clock, and it had been signed for, so I knew that that was all good. However, like I say, it took them a week and a half to send me the new lip gloss, which I just thought was a joke. So the lip gloss came, everything was absolutely fine, it was done, and then about 2 days later I get a phone call again from the Laura Mercier counter just to make sure that I've actually received the product. It turns out that the lady on the phone was the horrible lady that served me in the store. Now, as soon as she told me her name on the phone, I knew that it was the same sales representative. So I was super polite to her. She apologised for the way that she'd spoken to me, and I was super, super polite back to her. However, when she was on the phone to me, she was I don't know how to explain it. She was trying to be professional and trying to be polite, but still with a slight attitude. And I just thought, do you know what? This is like one nightmare after another after another. All I want to do is go away, use this lip gloss, and forget about this horrible experience when I actually tried to purchase it. So I got her off the phone. She apologised. She explained to me that she did have things going on at home, and maybe she'd accidentally brought that into work. She didn't mean to. You know, she had problems in her personal life, and I was just like, I don't need to know your life story, but thanks very much for filling me in. So basically that was that. It took, like I say, it probably took about 2.5, 3 weeks to actually get the correct product. But at the same time, like I say, Selfridges were super helpful. They were fantastic. Laura Mercier, however, not so much. So I will not be returning to the Laura Mercier counter within Selfridges at the Trafford Centre again. I think once you have a terrible customer service experience, it does put you off dealing with them in the future. Laura Mercier as a brand, I absolutely love. I love the product. I am obsessed with the translucent setting powder. However, the lip gloss just isn't all that. I got it home, I tried to use it a few times, and I think I mentioned this in one of my fails videos as well. It's just not me. It's sort of a nude, super, super nude gloss, and I'll show you on here. I mean, it looks okay when it's on my skin, bearing in mind I have got self-tan on. Just doesn't look like that on your lips. I've got lip product on, so I won't put it on my lips and show you, but it's just crap. It's crap. It cost me over £20. I think it was £20 or £21.99. I'm not sure. It was something along those lines. So it wasn't cheap, but it looks and feels like a cheap lip gloss. So I will not be repurchasing any of these lip glazes from this line ever. Like I say, I will not be returning to the Laura Mercier stall in the actual Selfridges store. Just massively put me off, which is unfortunate, and it sucks. I mean, I've had bad MAC experiences, and I have actually returned back to the MAC stores before, and you know, things have been completely fine and things have been lovely and the girls have been lovely and things like that, but this was just one of those experiences that completely put me off a brand. Now, if I wasn't in love with the setting powder as much as I am, I wouldn't be repurchasing that either. I would be steering clear of Laura Mercier completely. But like I say, I'm obsessed with the setting powder, so I will be repurchasing that. It was just one nightmare after another, and like I say, I was glad to just have it all over with and just get on and use the lip gloss, even though I then ended up hating it. So that was my terrible Laura Mercier customer service story. Hopefully you guys liked this video. If you do, give me a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below, and I will see you guys in my next video.